Real Talk with Star Scorpio, Season 1, Episode 10. I had a great interview with Ferrier, a local comedian here in Toronto. You can even say her stomping grounds where she started in Brampton. She talks about her journey, some of the challenges she's faced, and I learned something about Crystal that you'll find out at the end of the episode.
I want to do right because those look like blue balls and I want to separate.
Crystal, welcome to Real Talk with Star Scorpio. How you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. And before we start, I want to thank you for always helping me with my crazy skits that I filmed back in the day.
Of course.
Yes, you were in my trailer, my comedy horror that I wanted to produce. And
yes, your comedy horror, not comedy horror, please, because we don't want to mix that up, okay?
Yes, horror, yes. And you were actually going to be the first one killed.
I was?
Oh yeah, man. And I'm going to show the scene too, so people are going to see it.
Hilarious. That was how long was that?
That was a good, 2008, probably. It was a little while ago, more than 10 years. That's and amazing. When I was filming a skit about quitting comedy, you helped me along with Keisha. So thank you for that too.
Yes, no problem. Those were fun times, man. I enjoyed it.
I think I want to rap now.
Pete, I want to rap too. I say we go to McDonald's. They have some new raps. Hey!
Yeah. So Crystal, here we go. I see you're focused in many areas and you have that entrepreneurial spirit.
Yes.
Today, we're going to discuss stand-up comedy. Everyone has their story on how they started. What's your story?
Mine's a little interesting. So I was kind of in a space in my life, I don't know, I was in a relationship that wasn't working out. And I met a fellow comedian that's a friend of mine now, Keisha Brownie, through this kind of dating situation I was in. And Keisha would always encourage me and say, you know what, you're so funny, you're hilarious. We'd run jokes together all the time. And she'd always say, hey, you should try comedy. And I'm like, no, I've done theater, so I've done stage work, but never by myself. So it's like, you know what, we're always running jokes at home. It's very different to be on a stage. So I was like, nah. But then the relationship kind of ended. And, there was this moment where that person told me oh, you could never do comedy. You're not funny. And all they're going to do is stare at your tits. Wait, can I say tits? Is that okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Late. It's too late. Should have asked. Go ahead. And I was like, really? And that stuck with me mainly because I'm a really petty person, but also because I was like, nah, man, you can't tell me that I can't do something, Right. So I remember it was the weekend and there was this open mic at a bar named CC's, and I was living in Brampton, on Kennedy Road at that time. Okay. I was like, you know what, let me go. And literally the first few jokes were just about my mom and being Indian, living in Brampton. And I killed it and literally just started getting booked after that. It was crazy. Yeah. So I was really lucky that way.
That's crazy. Do you remember what year that was?
That was probably, I'm going to say 12 years ago, something like that.
Okay, yeah. So I started
more than that, I feel, because if we did 2008, it was probably 2005, 6, maybe 2006 or 7. Yeah, because I think I met you about a year in, right? I was new for sure, but yeah.
So that leads to my next question. So even though I started stand up in the main Toronto scene before you, I always looked up to you, and I still do. Your work ethic, your drive, and the passion for this art form is top notch. How do you keep going?
You know what? I hit a bump in the road for a while, probably in my 5th year, and I just, I wasn't feeling that motivated, especially to write and things like that. But to be honest, the pandemic sent me in overdrive. So the first thing was the birth of my children, because then I'm like, okay, I have a different purpose for this now. But that pandemic hit, and I was like, oh no, this is I lost the love of my life, comedy, right? And I think I went through a bit of a grieving process, and I was probably depressed, but you know, people of color were like, what's depression? My mom's like, put Tiger Balm on that. You're fine. It's like, you're good. So,
Yeah.
you know, I had to grieve the love of my life. And once I realized that, you know, everyone's using this word, I had to pivot.
Yes.
Then, you know, John Paul, another funny comedian of, you know, in our circle, he gave me a call and wanted to start this kind of, you know, just a hangout every weekend on Zoom. And then we, you know, it became into a show because we ran so many jokes and we were just laughing, and it just brought up my spirits. I always tell these guys, Jay Martin and John Paul, like, they have no idea what they did for me in the pandemic, because I literally like combed my hair for them, you know, like it was a big deal. So my drive just hit over. Yeah.
Yeah. So Crystal, I sorry to cut you off, but
yeah,
that was one of my questions, and I'm glad you brought it up now. So COVID impacted stand-up in a big way. And I see you're a part of the Minority Report. Is this what you're getting at? Is this how this started?
Yeah, so that's how the Minority Report started, because we ran so many jokes, we were making each other laugh, and we felt so good about it that we're like, well, there's probably other people that, you know, are depressed or sad or missing going out. And, you know, so JP was like, let's turn this into a show. And yeah, it's been really a lot of fun, and we've got to do some live stuff now. So it's definitely a highlight of my pandemic.
Amazing. So back in the days, I was offered a lot of gigs to do stand-up here and there, but fear of failure stopped me from accepting shows.
You mean you didn't want to do Glenn's backyard?
Yeah, I got offered a lot of things, even weddings and everything, that I turned down because of that fear. Yes. So did you, or do you battle with that feeling of I'm not good enough? Or did you understand from the beginning that failure was a part of the process? Yeah,
so for me, you know what, like, that failure word is difficult, because growing up Indian, you know, like my dad used to always be like, it's never good enough. Like I'll bring home a 99% chemistry test, and he's like, where's the 1%? Like, he's just cutthroat, you know? Yeah. So, and I'm like, what do you mean, Daddy? Everybody in the class got like 70s. I'm the only one that hit a 90 at least, you know? But I grapple with the word failure a lot. And for me, I almost fake it, because I'm like, all right, you know what? Yeah, I'm scared to do it. Every show I'm scared, you know, I'm nervous. Okay, yeah. Of course, like, being nervous means you care. Right. So it's a good thing, but I'll never say no to any show. I'm like, yeah, sure. Right. And I remember in the beginning of my career, people were like, oh, you're so hilarious. Like, can you do 15? I had a hot maybe 7 at the max. I was like, yeah, of course, let's do this. And I'm like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? And then I'd sit and write and try to work it out and just go for it. And the thing about failure is, once you hit that accomplishment stage where I'm like, okay, I did the 15, I killed, and I feel good, then I'm like, that feeling, like, nothing can touch that, you know? So I encourage anyone that feels that failure kind of feeling blocking them to just push through. And you think, like, what's the next step you have to do? Okay, well, I got to write to get the 15 minutes. Then I got to get dressed and get to the show. Then I got to get on stage, and I got to tell the jokes. And then you're done. You just calculated, like, what's my next step? And then boom, you feel that it's almost like a euphoric feeling when you've accomplished a goal that you knew you were so afraid to fail at, you know? Yeah. So I hope some people watch this now, or even listen to it, because I'm on the Spotify now, because people need to hear that. I had a comedian earlier on from the States, Eric Escobar, and he gave that inspirational talk too. So I like hearing this. So we talk about support. You already named some comedians, and when I did my interview with Eric, I dropped the names of the comedians that helped me out. So support is a big part of one's success, and I see you have that circle of support. Gilson Lubin was the first comedian that gave me an inspirational talk when I did my first Black show at Atlantis, and I didn't perform that well. Do you have an experience where a comedian sat you down and gave you that talk? Yeah, like, I'd have to say Kenny. That's the first. If anyone ever asked me, like, who was the most supportive, I'd say Kenny. So there's like layers. Yeah, I have the crew around me, but up here is Kenny. So Kenny Robinson. Kenny Robinson, Kenny Robinson, the godfather of comedy, the legend himself, he always encouraged me. He gave me advice through the way. And yeah, I mean, I've had a couple of bad shows here and there, and he's always, given me advice, sat me down, said things like, it's one show and you're better than this. What was in your head? That kind of thing. But he is the inspiration of encouragement for sure. Yeah.
Good to hear. Yeah, he was a big support for me back in the days. And now that's perfect timing. So I was lucky enough to have performed at Kenny's show, the Nubian Disciples of Pryor. Yes. And a few times I believe I performed with you as well.
Yeah, and we did the Ashanti skit or something
right? I was gonna say, do you remember when you helped me with my skit before my set that I went on?
Of course. I was like, well, I didn't even have to audition because I had the sideburns already.
Yeah.
So, I'm here, you know what I mean? We're here. So it was, I remember that. It was jokes. I love that. It was hilarious. Yeah.
Okay, so I can't do this. So
are you dying? You okay? You good? You good? Those are fun times, man. I don't know. Those were fun. I don't know how you came up with those skits, but they were fun times. I enjoyed it.
Me too. But I can't get my next question out, man. You got me.
You're hilarious.
Okay, so in your bio, I see you're the first female Indian comic to perform at Nubian Disciples of Pryor.
Probably not to perform at. I think there were a couple before me for sure, but the first one's a headline.
No, headline. You're the first one to headline.
Yes.
So what I want to know, Crystal, is how did that feel? So the growth from doing your first show to that moment you headline.
Oh, my headline was amazing. First of all, Kenny, he doesn't care. Like whoever he's headlining, he'll stack that show because he believes in you. The thing is, he believes in you. Like we're all scared shitting our pants, but it's because he believes in you and he wants to encourage you. So I had the heavy hitters like Mark Trinidad, Tricks, like John Paul, Jay Martin, Patrick Hay. Are you kidding me? All those dudes like bam, 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 slinging guns like right before me. And that's another thing. It's like, oh, I was afraid to fail. I'm like, that's a big deal. Everyone's looking at you. People come out to see that's your first headline, and I killed it. And, Kenny always introduces me, even when we've done shows in the past few years, like, this woman headlined the show and she kicked the shit out of it. And that means a lot to me, because to be stacked against and then to still kill it. And it's a long show, when the headliner gets on, everybody's sweating. It's hot in that like basement-ish room, right? Yeah. People are like, lot is late. We have to work. It's Monday morning the next day. So if you can do well in your headline spot, then, you're funny. So I took that and I was like, yeah, man, it was a point in my career, which, kind of made me think like, okay, you know what? This is a big deal.
Yes. Man, I didn't get to see it. Is that on YouTube? Is it there?
I don't know. I don't think I did put it on YouTube. I have it recorded somewhere. I haven't put it up. No.
The sucky part when I started with John Paul and them and Gilson and Ron Jossel, we didn't have the cameras at the time. We didn't.
True.
So we used to record it with the recorder and then review our set when we got home.
Yes.
And then later on, we started filming. But Yuck Yuck used to film it too, as well. Yuck Yuck.
Yeah, I think they did. Recorded. Yeah, no, I had a guy there filming it because I want to keep it, So yeah. Memory.
So Hardeepa and Melva.
Oh my
How
goodness.
did those characters get developed?
You know what? Those characters are probably directly related to our mothers, right? So Hardeepa is very much my mother. She's raw. She talks about sex, even though she's an old Indian lady, Melva is just Keisha's mom, basically, and we just said, hey, our moms are so funny and we do impressions of them all the time. So let's make them into characters. And I miss Hardeepa and Melva. We haven't done it in a long time, but it was fun. It was a different aspect to what we do, right?
Yeah, and you put a different spin on the Nubian show because I believe you performed as Hardeep and Nova at the Nubian show a few times, right?
Yes, we did, and that I believe is on YouTube. And we used to put push it as a package, right? So we do Hardeepa and Melva, and then Crystal would do comedy, and Keisha would do comedy, and we just charged them for all of those things, So yeah, man, it was good. I missed them a lot.
Amazing. So now tell me about SheDot, the Toronto Festival of Funny Women. What's that about?
Yeah, so I believe I think it's a two Toronto-based female comics, Karen and I forget right now. It was a long time ago, but they do a festival with all female comedians from all over, and so I got to be a part of that earlier on in my career, and it was a lot of fun because you're around all women. Usually,
Yeah.
you're the only woman on a lineup, right?
Yeah.
So it was mad fun. I thought that was a great concept too. They haven't done it in a long time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I seen the site there. So I was going to ask you about that. And also in your bio, Kevin Hart's LOL Network. What's this about? Did you perform at what is it? What festival was it? What'd you do? Let me know
Yeah,
about that.
so we had an audition kind of style show, which was Kenny's Nubian show.
Okay.
And people from JFL were there to scout for Kevin Hart's LOL Network. And so a lot of us got in that year. It was really a wicked experience.
Okay,
And
so
we
you're talking about
recorded-
Just for Laughs. That's what I was.
Yes, Just for
Yes.
Laughs.
Okay.
Exactly. So we recorded it at Just for Laughs, and then he has it on his network that's available online, I believe.
Mhm.
And I think it's available in Canada too now. It was only the States at first, but now I've seen a couple of my clips and things like that moving around. So that
Okay.
was very cool as well. Yeah.
Mhm. So you've performed in a lot of places. Performing in Toronto is a great experience. We know humor and laughter is universal,
Mhm.
but performing at home, the crowd understands our slang and the references to our jokes. How
Yeah.
is it performing in different provinces or different countries?
Yeah, like, I mean, I can't go to India and go, oh, what are you doing today? Because they're like, I don't get it. What's so funny about that? You know what I mean? You can't do accents over there because they are accents. So,
Right.
you have to kind of conform to where you are. But India was fun because they don't like, it's funny when you go to India, when I go to India, they call me an NRI. It's a non-resident Indian. Basically, it's an Indian that was in India but then left and lives abroad,
Okay.
So my experience as an NRI was funny to them because me coming back to India was actually a culture shock, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Because I haven't been there. I mean, I grew up there. I left when I was 10 years old, something like that. And then I went back, I think, when I was 20 something.
Mhm.
So it was a culture shock, literally. It was crazy. So that experience was funny to them. So I just spoke my truth and they found that funny. But when I came to Toronto, yeah, I made fun of the accents, of course.
Yeah.
Experience, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it depends where you are. You gotta, like, as they say, read the room, right?
Right. And I know, we both perform with Russell Peters, but I want to know, like, are there any comedians where you couldn't believe that you're in their presence? So you took this beyond what I did. I stayed local Toronto and things like that.
Yeah.
But are there any comedians that you were like, wow, I can't believe I watched him on TV or her on TV and now I'm performing with them?
Yeah, so when we did JFL, it was kind of crazy because we would go to these industry parties as well, and you'd see all the comedians that you'd see on TV, like Michael Shea, even Kevin Hart was there, Trevor Noah, and they're just normal people. They're normal people, and you go through that, oh my gosh, like, I want to ask for a picture, but I don't want to look like a groupie, and I was like, this is a one-time in my life experience. So, I talk to people and took pictures and things like that, and you realize, yeah, you see them on TV, but they're just people,
right?
And so that was pretty cool to see them just hanging out with their friends and laughing, having a drink, and chatting to people. But yeah, I love it. It was a cool experience where I literally got to see so many celebrities in one room, like right beside me.
Crazy.
So crazy. Yeah.
So again, we talked about, you said you got two beautiful daughters. Do they know what mommy does?
Oh yeah, they do. They probably don't think I'm funny at all, but they do. Like my older one, I'm so scared. I'm like, she's my mini me, dude. Like I can't. I'm like, she's going to be relentless in this entertainment field, because she's already like, mommy, like get a video, like take a video of me, you know, like we'd be going to school, just walking to school, she's like, mom, get your video, I want to do an impression of Nana. Like the other day she did an impression of my mom and she killed me. Like I put it on my Instagram, I didn't tell her what to do, we're just literally walking to school. And you know, when I'm in mom mode, I'm not like hee hee ha, I'm like, okay, get the lunches ready, get the water bottle, get this, I gotta sign this form. We're walking to school. She's like, Ma, take a video of me. I want to do an impression of Nana. So I'm like, all right, cool. I start this video. She's like, okay. And she starts praying like my mom prays. My mom's pretty religious, right? So she's like, okay, thank you for the leaves and the trees. Thank you for these bloody crackers. And I died laughing. I was like, oh, that's so my mom. You know, my mom says thank you for the most random things when she's praying.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this girl is so funny. She's a killer and she's 6. I don't know what's gonna happen when she's older, man. She's an entertainment, like blood. There's entertainment in her blood, you know. So.
Yeah, and it's always one. I find, like, if it was a family of two siblings, one is always, you know, that outgoing one, and one's more, you know.
Exactly. The other one is chill. Like she's like my angel. You know, she's so sweet. Like she's aware. Like if I'm not having a good day, she's like, "Mommy, are you okay?" Where my other one's like, "Mom, like, where's my black tights with pink polka dots? Like, you're supposed to do the laundry." I'm like, why are you roughing me up, guy? You're 6, you know? Yeah, very different, very different. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So when I scroll through your Instagram, I see a lot of flyers. I remember doing shows and you have your picture on the flyer with the other comedians, and I just keep scrolling. You've done so many things.
Oh, yeah.
What do you have coming up now?
What do I have coming? I have Sabrina Chavan's show. Sabrina Douglas, she goes by. I think it's Sunday, November 21st. Yes. And then I have the Nubian show. I'm back on the Nubian show, and it's back after 2 years or something like that.
Oh,
through the pandemic, we got shut down, right? So finally the Nubian show's back. I'm on the first one back, which is such an honor. And that's Sunday, November 28th. So check out my social media and get those tickets, because the Nubian show, you know, I hope you come. I hope you come, by the way.
Yeah, I have to start going out to that again.
Yes.
I miss it.
Yeah, man, it's a fire show. I always say you can compare it to, you know, a show in New York. It's so much energy and it's just so much fun. So yeah, I'm excited.
And you know what's crazy? Like, you know, the comics know what I'm getting at here now. Some of the people that attend. So when I started in 2004, I believe, you know, JYD from the Raptors was at one of my shows. There's a lot of famous people. I missed Will Smith and Jada one time when they were there. And Mishi Me was at one of my shows. It's not my shows. I was opening the Nubian show. Yes. But do you remember any famous people that were at the show recently or back in the days that you can name?
Back in the day, I remember Damon Stoudemire. Like, I remember enough celebrities coming through there, just sitting in the back. And of course, when Russell would pass through, it'd be a big deal, you know. But let's see, like, I'm excited to have it open up again and see, you know, I remember Julie Black being there too.
Oh yeah, Julie Black.
Chilling in the back, remember? So I'm excited to see who's gonna be there this time.
Nice. So Crystal, aside from comedy, you wrote a children's book. Tell me about that. How did that start? What inspired you to do that?
So first of all, of course, my children inspired me to do it because, you know, I'd read books to them and nobody looks like my kids in these books that I'm reading. And it's like, nah, man, we need to do better, you know? So I was always good with poetry and writing and things like that. And I said, you know what, I want to do something for them that they can keep as a memory, you know, of me later on in life. They're like, my mom wrote this book when I was a kid, you know. And then, of course, I'm a big fan of residual income. So I wanted to get something out there that was a different form, because I have my album spinning on SiriusXM and selling, you know, all over the world, really. So that's one. And my second was this book that, you know, will hopefully be out and available for Christmas to buy everyone this year, you know, Christmas gifts. But yeah, I love the book. The concept is, it's called The Crown. And the concept is that, you know, every little boy and little girl, no matter what they look like, they come from royalty. And my kids especially, I'm like, you guys come from royalty. And just because you're not walking around with your crown on, like, it's there.
Right.
So that's basically the concept of the book.
Amazing. Great for kids. And
Yes.
thanks for sharing that.
No problem. Thank you.
So, Crystal, we come to the point in the interview where I'm going to show you 3 balloons,
Yes.
and then you're going to tell me which one to pop. And either donating to the Cancer Society, ALS, or Alzheimer's. All right. So, Crystal, I'm holding the 3 balloons. Tell me which one you want me to pop.
I want to do right, because those look like blue balls and I want to separate. So do the third, the one on the end that you have 2, that one. Yeah.
All right. And the 10th charity Star Scorpio is donating to is...
You know what? Can I tell you something? This is manifestation, because a friend of mine actually just passed 2 days ago from cancer. Nicole Morgan, rest in peace. Mm-hmm. And I wanted to pick, before you had the balloons, I was like, no, pick cancer. And then I was like, no, you know what? Let Peter do his thing, because God knows my heart. And look at that. There you go.
This is the universe working, because that's what actually happened on my very first episode. My friend Lamin, who used to come to every show that I did at the Nubian Disciples of Pryor, everywhere in Toronto.
Yeah.
He passed of ALS back in 2020, and that was the first charity that I donated to. So
there you go.
And it was a random pick. Yeah.
I love it.
So, Crystal, thank you for coming out today. Let the people know where they can find you, Instagram, Facebook, let them know.
Yeah, like you can find me anywhere. You can find me at Costco usually on Monday morning. But if you want to find where I do shows, check out my Instagram. It's at Miss Ferrier. It's right at the bottom of my screen there. I'm sure Peter will put it up. And Facebook, Crystal Ferrier. That's me. Come stalk me.
Episode 10 of Real Talk with Star Scorpio in the books. And we out.
All right.